Welcome back to Andersen Acres. We're out here with Arwen today, and all the birds are kind of stalking us. So, we're just following Arwen around. She's a little bit wet because it was pouring. You can probably tell. It's been very, very cloudy and absolutely pouring today. And she didn't want to go in her barn, which is a little odd. But she wanted to stand out in the rain because Shadowfax was standing out in the rain, and that's just what they were doing. And we're all running. I don't know where we're running to, but we're all running. So, today I wanted to talk about another health problem that can crop up with your goats. And this one is deadly and has no cure. If you end up with this in your herd, your goats are not destined to live super long. I'm talking about Caprine Arthritis Encephalitis. You're going to see it abbreviated CAE most places. And this is an incurable viral infection. It's a retrovirus, kind of like HIV in people. Okay, so it's not HIV, but it kind of behaves in the same way. There is an uncommon juvenile onset neurological CAE. It's rare. That's not normally what we mean when we say a goat has CAE. But the juvenile version does cause seizures and paralysis in kids, in baby goats. But standard CAE is primarily a wasting disease affecting adult goats. Early symptoms, so when they first are exhibiting symptoms of the virus, include things like swollen knees, unexplained weight loss, congestion in the lungs, so they kind of act like they're sick all the time. And eventually, goats with CAE die of chronic pneumonia. It sucks. But that is basically the prognosis for a goat with CAE. This used to be mainly in dairy goats. Okay, this particular illness was primarily in dairy goats, but it kind of spread by the practice of crossing meat bucks with dairy does to make commercial meat goats. So when they did that, specifically when they did that, the virus started to spread amongst other types of goat. So it wasn't just confined to dairy goats anymore. It is spread from mama to their babies by bodily fluids. So the colostrum, the milk, they drink the mama's milk and they get CAE. There are only two things you can do if you have a doe that has CAE. Either don't breed her, or if she does have a baby, you got to take that baby away right at birth. You can't let her raise it. You can't let her nurse it, because then the baby has it. So you have to take the baby away and bottle feed with milk replacer or whole pasteurized milk. You can't even nurse or milk your goat and then feed it to the baby. Look at how wet you are. These are kisses. Mwah. But you can't even feed the milk from the goat to the baby, because it'll give the baby CAE. That was the whole point of taking the baby away from mama. So my preference would be not to breed a goat with that, but if you are a producer and you have goats with CAE, you have to take the baby away. It's unfortunate, but there's currently no cure for CAE. Okay, there's just no way. There is CAE testing for individual goats, so it's possible to test an individual goat before you buy it. However, those tests are not super accurate. The absolute best thing you can do is don't buy from a CAE infected herd. Just don't. It is better to go with a CAE clean herd. Okay, so you can ask if the herd is clean. You can request testing by a vet if you would like, even though those individual tests are not super accurate. If there has been CAE in that herd, then likely what's going to happen is your goat is going to have it as well. Okay, it is best to buy from a clean herd. This disease is devastating, and again, it does not have a cure. So if you do have a goat with CAE, it is best not to sell that goat. It is best not to breed that goat. It is best not to use any product from that goat. So don't use the meat, don't use the milk. Just let that goat live out its life. They usually die from pneumonia. They're a pet. They're a pet. Don't introduce them to other goats. Let it kind of run its course. Blue's coming. Hi, Blue. Blue to turkey. He's on his way. Yes, thank you, Blue. Thank you for chiming in. Very glad. But CAE is one of those things that there's very little you can do about it. You can treat the goat symptomatically, so handle the symptoms as they come up. But it is typically fatal. They get pneumonia and they pass away. They just can't recover eventually. It doesn't happen immediately, but it eventually happens. So the whole goal here is not to spread it, not to end up with a bunch of goats that have it. So buy your goat from a clean herd so it's never a problem for you. She doesn't have it. I won't buy from a herd that has CAE. I just won't. I ask. So ask the breeder, talk to people, find out if any of those goats in that herd, anyone who's bought one, if they've had problems related to CAE, you just don't want to, it's not worth it. It's really not worth it. There are other goats in the world. You can, thank you. Blue's making so much noise. But you can absolutely, why are you pushing chickens through the gate? It's rude. But you can absolutely 100% keep a goat that does have CAE, but I wouldn't buy one. Like if your goat, you didn't know, and you were like, oh geez, my goat has CAE, let that goat live out its life. And then when it passes, get goats only from clean herds. It's not worth the stress. So if you can avoid, look how dirty he is. But if you can avoid having a goat with CAE in your flock, that is for the best. It's seriously not worth it. CAE is devastating. So buy from a CAE clean herd. If it's an infected herd, skip. Find somebody with a clean herd. Smaller producers do tend to be clean because they only have a few goats, so they don't have large groups. Hi guys, you guys look devastating. Look at you. You guys are all wet. Get out of the rain. Dummies. Anyway, that is about it for us here today at Andersen Acres. Remember to buy your goats from a clean herd just to avoid problems. We'll see you tomorrow.